Lament for the Marshes.
Documenting the songs of the Marsh Arabs in southern Iraq as endangered cultural and environmental knowledge. Jane Araf from New York Times wrote, "It is not often that you see a place that reminds you of nowhere else on earth. The marshes are like that. They seem to transcend time, not just in the usual way of a glimpse of life as it was decades or centuries ago, but it is more as if everything else falls out on the water, with the birds and the sunlight and the sound of the boat." Fatma al-Asadi lives alone by the side of a small tributary of the Euphrates River. She earns her living by raising water buffaloes.
دوابك يا ابويا كبار واصغار ويردن متجمع ويردن اعدوار ويردن يا ابويا ثوره قبل الدوايا دوابك يا ابويا عذبني ويردن بتالي اللي تسيار مني سود وغراني جوب الدور مسوى طريق يا سود يا المحليات هالجمال يا سود يا المحليات هالجمال وكل الكرم والجود من شيء.
In this video essay, I demonstrate the rootedness of the Iraqi Marsh Arabs' water culture, expressed and celebrated in their songs. These songs serve as a repository of the histories, knowledge, and everyday experiences. The main repertoire of the Marsh Arabs singing is Lament, which reflects their hard existence. The exception to this is their celebratory wedding and festive songs. This video essay also represents my lament for the real threat of loss of this culture due to the ongoing water scarcity and drought. On a personal level, as an Iraqi living in the diaspora, embarking on this project is a way of honoring my obligation to that ancient cultural legacy. At the same time, during the process of creating this work, I have become more aware and in contact with a forgotten part of my own identity. Finally, documenting these songs for posterity will, I hope, remind future generations of their ancestral heritage.
In Beirut, songs, dances, and ritual processes present rich repositories of local knowledge about the environment and are particularly relevant signifiers of local meaning systems. Drawing on Impey's work, this project examines how people transform landscapes into places of human action, and how nature is imbued with meaning by and for social praxis and identity.
Lovell wrote that belonging to a particular locality evokes the notion of loyalty to a place, a loyalty that may be expressed through oral or written histories. Lovell then elaborates how loyalty and belonging are markers of identity at an individual and collective level, and that rootedness and rootlessness evokes conditions of existence which tend to stress the emotional gravity of a place. Razak Saboon, known as Abu Haider, used to be a fisherman, but now works as a boater. He is one of a few remaining people who still sing on the marsh.
يا ويلي يا ويلي بويا سماك حلو اسمك ابوك شلون سماك وصديقك لا زعل وياك ويامك سماك أنا السمك وانت صبحت، أنا لسمك وانت صبحت سماك، من اطيح بشبشتك اعطف علي يا ويلي يا ويلا يا ويلي وادفع انا بويا وادفع انا، دفعني الشوق بيده الشوق بيده، وادفع انا احش وانقل واحمل، احيش احيش بويا يا بويا، احش وانقل واحمل، وادفع انا على راسي ولا بيها الاذيه الاذيه، مشحوفنا طر الهور اليوم صيدتنا طيور، مشحوفنا طر الهور اليوم صيدتنا طيور، يا بي يا بي يا بي يا بي يا بي يا بي، خيعونك المنحب بيضا وطويلة، بس يزعل يتحاشي وتريد لا حيلة، مشحوفنا طر الهور اليوم صيدتنا طيور، مشحوفنا طر الهور اليوم صيدتنا طيور.
Iraq as a country had a turbulent past. The Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s changed the Marshes into a battleground. This was followed by Iraq's invasion of Kuwait and the American invasion of Iraq in 1991. This triggered the Shia uprising in the south against the Iraqi regime. Following the Shia uprising, the regime decided to drain the marshes to punish and to have full control over the indigenous population by gaining full access to the area. Satellite images show the effects of draining of the marshes in the 1990s. The marshes shrank to less than 10% of their original area. Fatma talks about her experience of this location. When Saddam Hussein became president, he started to bully the people. We had problems with him, and he dried out the water. When the water was gone, we moved to another area nearby called Chiffa. Then this area also dried up. We moved to Beled, where we worked on building sites. Then he encouraged us to come back to the dried up marsh and work the land, what used to be the marsh. He distributed the land, gave us a loan and machinery. Then when Saddam was gone, people reflooded the marsh, and I moved to this location.
خب وسلام نعكر كبت والليل نعكر كبت والليل ماما نعكر كبت والليل وسلام ما خبتيت وما بقت بالعين تربتي بكيت وما بقت بالعين العين وش لا أجر وادفع وشي هي الإشراع ترى نجور جمور ودفمع ودفمع وشيل شرام ما وشله ولا واحد يمد يد علي.
For centuries, the Marsh Arabs lived in reed houses on floating islands surrounded by water. They earned their living by fishing, hunting birds, cutting reeds, and breeding water buffaloes. Up until the late 1970s, when the natural environment was still thriving, the marshes were teeming with people's songs intermingled with animals' sounds and bird songs. Although the marshes were revived after the fall of the Iraqi regime in 2003 and large numbers of the Marsh Arabs returned, water levels started to seriously decline in the Euphrates and Tigris rivers in recent years due to climate change and the ongoing transboundary dam building and water diversion projects in upstream countries, namely Turkey and Iran. Samir Bahar, nicknamed Abu Radhi, now divides his time between his modestly built concrete house in Chibaish town and his reed hut on the Hammar Marsh, where he keeps his water buffaloes. Every morning, he or his wife steers the boat through the marsh to their reed hut and tend to their water buffaloes. Then they go further into the marsh to cut the reeds, the fodder for the animals. They repeat their journey into the marsh again in the evening to ensure that the buffaloes are taken out of the water, fed and secured for the night.
لبسنا بنوف رماني أنا لبسنا بنوف رماني وياني ولفنا على علب واليابة إلي بويا يا ويلا أنا بنار ترى بنمار يا هالواجيب على التنمور يا هالواجيب على التنور بنمار ذهب ومو عن الوزن مات أنا ذهب ومو عن الوزن مات بنمار وعسب ميت العريضي أنا عسب ميت العريضي تشب نار بشماله ولا تظل من البجية بويا صب على بوي يلا اغسل اغسلها هذا اغسلها يلا نرجع والشايل خلص صبري ويا ماي العين خلص صبر ويا ماي العين والشايل لا يديل أنا والشايل يفيد النوم والقعدة السوية ويا وادفعنا احش وانقال وحمل احش وانقول احش وانقمل وحميميل وادفعنا وهم شرط نقعد على الدوسة وسوية عباس يا مش هاي الدنيا تبغى هاي تبغى
لا هو محمد
روح التوم فوق التوم فوق.
Social and environmental stressors on the Mesopotamian marsh system have degraded the resilience and adaptability of the marshes into simplified, impoverished, and degraded state. If humans manage for resilience, the system remains sustainable. If not, the system degrades, becomes depleted, and cannot provide sustenance for the human inhabitants. Ecological and social resilience and integrity are spiraling into disorganization and dissolution. This is the moment in which the social ecological system of the Mesopotamian marshes and the marsh Arabs find themselves.
يا ويلي يا ويلي يا ويلي يا ويلي بويا بهاماي همت وتوهدانت روحي بهاماي بهام وأبد ما يوجد بهاماي بعد شي في دلاع الظني بهاماي ويوم الضاعن صار ومار علي كف العتب منهم يا قلب حميد يما
Drought, water salination, and pollution have led to environmental degradation, including the loss of vegetation, birds, and the fish population. These factors cause the obliteration of the marsh Arabs' previously self-sustaining way of life. Large numbers of the population have become internally displaced persons. Here at Al-Hisja, part of Al-Hammar Marsh, some of the population moved to the side of the road with their water buffaloes.
ويمي ردت نسوان تبكيني رديت يا ماما ردت نسوان تبكيني ويمي على ذاك المسار الصار بيما المال بويا المال المال سالف ضام قلب يا ابويا
These water buffaloes are returning from their daily walk of over 4 miles each way, further into the dried-up marsh where they can eventually access water canals that are deep enough for them to submerge in during the day. Water buffaloes need to submerge in water to regulate their body temperature. Here they are on their way back to their owners' dwellings by the side of the road to spend the night.
The Iraqi poet Rashid al-Khayyun, who is from the Marshes, wrote, "The people in the marsh need the water. Their spiritual need surpasses the material need, since draining the marshes means putting the boats out of service. It also means an end to original poetry specific to the marsh, and to singing, which can only be performed in that theatre of water and reeds and rushes. This video essay has demonstrated the inextricable link between nature and culture for the Marsh Arabs, and specifically the role played by songs as a repository of that relationship. The endangerment of the marshes inevitably means the endangerment to an ancient way of life, and to the rich singing performance tradition that served as an intimate narrative of people and place. By documenting the songs of the Marsh Arabs, it is my hope to be able to contribute to the preservation of historical memories of these unique lifeways for next generations, and equally to raise public awareness of the effects of water scarcity and climate change on the survival of this indigenous culture.
يما درب الغريا خطر وبعيد لو ما يرمش الله بطراريد الضياي وماما مشينا للغريا طروش نجابلهم يا شبجة ونبنيناكم والله عزاز الأرواح وبالكد نشوف عزاز الأرواح قلوا لأختنا خليوها الشي قلوا لأختنا خليوها الشي مرتنا غريبة واختنا هتعين